Hello and welcome back to the wild. So yes, welcome back, and it's a lovely day here in this beautiful barley field, which I love. I love barley, I think it's beautiful. Anyway, so today's review is all about the Fujifilm 33mm f1.4, which is this little beauty here. Now Fujifilm sent this to me a couple of weeks ago, along with some other equipment to review, so I'm really grateful for Fujifilm for that, because it means I can provide these reviews for you right now. So I've been testing this lens out over the last few weeks, and I've really put it to lots of different scenarios and lots of tests to really provide you with an all-rounded review. It's not going to be technical, it's just going to be a user experience over the last few weeks. So I hope it helps, hope you enjoy it, I hope you like the shots, and I hope you like how it's performed, and yeah, should crack on with the review. I love doing this on the barley, I don't know about you. Just going, ooh, it feels so nice. Ooh. I hope you enjoyed that cinematic experience. Okie dokie, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was first impressions of this lens. Now, I'll be honest, when I first used it, it didn't sing to me. And I think it might have been because I was using the 23mm at the same time, and I love that focal length, but I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get into the rhythm with the 33mm. But, there's always a but to this. I started to use it more, and I started to appreciate it more. And I got some very magical shots in a crop field, a bit similar to this one. And I was like, oh, I found its strength. And it was like a eureka moment. I was like, oh my word. And from that moment, I love this lens. And I think this lens just took a little bit longer for me to warm up to. But my God, am I happy I waited for it. Because I got some stunning shots with it, like stunning. So the next point I wanted to discuss was that this lens is a prime lens and it is versatile. Now for you guys, I really went to town, literally, to test out this lens, to push myself out my comfort zone and really provide you with an all-rounded review. So I went into the city of Edinburgh, and as you can see, I am not a city lady, but I did it. I went there and I took pictures and I was shooting away, and do you know what? You know what I realized? I'm terrible at street photography, but I have some shots I'll show you anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can go to the city, you can be stood in a field, you can be stood at the beach, you can do whatever, and this lens will be there for you. It will support you because it is an adaptable and capable lens. You can use it for many different scenarios, and I love that, because if you're spending your pennies, you want something you can use for so many different things. And equally, on a practical level, if you just wanted to take this lens alone with the camera body and just take it away traveling, you don't have to worry about changing your lenses. You've got something that is functional for so many different scenes. So it's a really valid point to remember. And on this note as well, this lens has a very attractive angle of view and a very lovely focal length. And it's something that's not too cut in, not too narrow like you with the 50 or 56mm or whatever. And it's not too wide either. It's that lovely sweet spot. And that again means that you can get more pictures with portraits, with more scenery in the background, and just feel more comfortable at testing it with lots of different things, which is great. It's really good. So yeah, thumbs up again for it being versatile and being a prime lens. It did not disappoint. It was great. Thumb war. Okie dokie. So the next point I'm going to lead you on to is image quality. Now, this lens is fantastic for image quality. Really, really beautiful, stunning. And similar to the 23mm, I don't know what Fujifilm have done, but they've managed to compact so much goodness into one lens. It's amazing. So image quality, sharpness, clarity, it's so good. And even with the aperture, it's beautiful. You've got that lovely wide aperture, so you can get some dreamy effects and bokeh. And not only do you get that lovely wide plumpy aperture with bokeh, you also get clarity at the wide aperture as well. And again, I don't know how they've achieved it, but for the whole aperture scale, you've got quality, 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 and it's really impressive. And a lot of shots I got were on the X-T30 Mark II, and you still had that really beautiful detail and quality. So yeah, I'm really impressed with this lens, and it's really, really beautiful. So yeah, super happy with that. And going back to the aperture ring itself, or the dial, really lovely. Never once missed it, never skipped it by mistake, never dunked it. And it's got a little notch where you could lock it into place for your aperture, so your auto aperture. But that little notch as well helps guide you when you're moving the aperture ring. Yeah, really, really good. Really overall, image quality and aperture, thumbs up, because it nails it, hits that mark, it's brilliant. Was not disappointed. This is a rye field. Follows me everywhere. Okie dokie. So the next point I want to discuss is filming, because filming with this lens was magical and I loved it. And this is where the dreamy and magical realm enters this review. My favorite topic, magic, because everything should be done magically in my opinion. Yes, this lens did that, and I filmed it on the Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II, which did a fantastic job. I did it in slow motion, and it was just a dream, and it made me want to film more. It inspired me to just pick up the camera and go out more and give it a try. I went out at sunset. That's my favorite time of day. In my opinion, it's magic hour. That's when magic happens, and it's true because it does. And I shot it at sunset, and you don't need to change that. You don't need to add anything to it because it's sunset. Sunset's beautiful as it is, and the quality was great. The picture was great, the color tones, everything. I didn't actually need to edit that much either, and make that point about all my photos. I don't actually edit a lot because I like to keep my stuff true to what I shot on the day. And this lens captured it in its raw, glorious form. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you can feel the magical element that I felt when I was out at sunset. Blue moon, been one or two since I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, I get so it's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Okay, the next point I wanted to discuss for a while now, so I'm quite excited to talk about it, is depth. And what do I mean by depth? Just a different vibe this lens gave to my photography. And I'm going to try my best to explain this because it's in my mind, and sometimes I cannot explain in my mind, it's weird. For example's sake, I recently did a storytelling vlog with a 35mm f1.4, and I love that lens, love it. That's why I did a whole vlog using it. But I noticed with that lens that sometimes it left my images feeling very two-dimensional and linear. So when you looked at them, it's very much like, but it didn't kind of necessarily add depth, shape, shadows, like you would normally see with a normal human eye. But when I shot with the 33mm, it felt like it gave that three-dimensional vibe back. It gave that depth, it gave that feeling of more perspective and scale, which I loved. And this isn't right or wrong for either lens. It was just nice to see that in my pictures. So I've got some shots I'll give you examples of, and you'll see what I mean about depth. I hope you do anyway. If you don't see what I mean, it is absolutely fine. Maybe it's just in my head. But anyway, depth, it was a big strength for me for this lens because it just created something different. And I love to see difference in all my lenses, and that was the difference in this lens. So for me, depth is the biggest strength. feel like that scene in Jurassic Park where they're like, don't go into the long grass. And it's like, ah, and all the raptors come out because I'm in this long grass. Anyway, so the next point I wanted to discuss was build quality. Now, this lens is super sturdy, super solid, robust. It's great. It feels value for money. It's also really good that both the 33mm and the 23mm have the same size filter, so you can buy one filter and swap it between your lenses if you own both, which is great because you can save your pennies. The lens is also lightweight and so portable, and when I had it attached to the X-T30 Mark II and the X-T3, I could just carry it around in my hand, on the body obviously, and just walk around. It's not a problem. It felt very well balanced. And with this, and my most important point about the build is that it's weather resistant. And I love that Fujifilm has carried this through for the 33mm and the 23mm. They are both weather resistant. If you're a photographer and you're going to go outside and take pictures of the world, and you want to be able to take pictures of the world without having to worry about your equipment failing in the rain, especially when you're spending your pennies, so it's great. And I took this lens out in the rain and I got pictures in the rain and the lens got wet, and I was like, I want to see how weather resistant this lens is, and it did really well. So top marks being weather resistant, solid build, sturdy lens, and yeah, just thumbs up all together. I'm getting bitten to pieces now by horseflies. Go away. Okay guys, I have some very sad news for you, and I'm sorry to say that the review is now coming to a close, and I'm sorry, but there will be more on the way. There are always more on the way. I will be having the 23mm and the X-T30 Mark II in a few weeks' time and stuff, so when I've made them, but they do take a long time to make, so please be patient with me. But I hope you found this useful. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, if you've got any feedback, let me know. This lens has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I think Fujifilm have done a grand job of managing to smush so much into one lens, and I think it's a lens that you can happily keep for years to come, to be honest with you. I think it's really, really good. With these reviews, I'm really trying just to provide something that's useful and honest and open. I love photography, like I really love it. It sings to my heart. It's my art form. I don't just take photos for the sake of posting it. I do it because it's from the heart. And I mean that, I really mean that. So when I'm doing these reviews, I'm trying to do it in the perspective of someone who loves photography, and I'm thinking about, does that annoy me? Is that useful? Is that practical? I'm trying to think of the elements that I look for when I'm picking a lens. And I hope I've done that for you, and I hope it's helpful. And that's where it's coming from, that genuine, honest, friendly photographer place. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get going because I'm still stood in this field and I'm really hungry. I always get very hungry, so I've got to go eat my dinner. On that note, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, stay awesome, stay you, stay wild, stay free, and keep taking pictures, keep having fun, because that's what it should be. And yeah, goodbye for now. Bye-bye.